Welcome to Montgomery Small Cap CEO series. We're doing a follow-up video today in response to some comments looking for more information on IMDEX's new products. Here with Paul House, IMDEX's incoming CEO, Paul takes us through the key new products, CoreVibe, Mack Hammer and Blast DOG. Here he shares his insights on the product's competitive advantage and addressable market. Enjoy.
Well, I think what we should do is talk a little bit about CoreVibe. It seems to be the product that's just going through its commercialization phase right now in the market. So maybe you could set the scene for us, give us a little bit of a sense of what CoreVibe does, and also what its unique proposition to the market is, and maybe a sense of the size of the market opportunity, and of course how commercialization is going right now.
Sure. So CoreVibe is very exciting. So we've spent about 2 years working with a team out of New Zealand and our R&D team out of California, refining the engineering of the product. So what CoreVibe actually does, it is a fluid-assisted, energy-driven, or generates a fluid-generated pulse that aims to improve the rate of penetration during drilling. Now it does that by creating a 60 hertz per second sinusoidal pulse that helps crack the rock and improve the drilling rate of penetration. So
better bang for buck.
Much better bang for buck, to the tune of 30%.
Wow.
So efficiency in the drilling space to that order of magnitude hasn't been around since the early 1950s. We're pretty excited about the improvement it can do, not just on the rate of penetration, but what it means for mining companies in being able to prosecute, drill more meters for the same budget, which ultimately helps solve the overall industry challenge about finding deposits that are deeper and doing so for less cost.
Right. And the sense of applicability of this technology, is this a tool that can be applied everywhere, anywhere? Is it going to the existing customers, or what sort of addressable market does this tool have?
Right, so today there's about 6,000 coring rigs around the world, and at the current market rates about 50% of those are utilised. CoreVibe works best in hard ground conditions. That's where you get the benefit of the action that it generates. That leaves an address, and about 60% of all rock is considered hard ground conditions by definition. So that means that today there's an addressable market of about 1,800 rigs. So what we're working with our customers to do is find out what does that adoption rate look like within their workflow, and which geological conditions does it work best in, and where does the best result come from. So we're right in that process right now. The engineering is complete and the customer trials are underway.
And in terms of kind of growth opportunity for the business, is it in the market today and it will all come over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, or is it going to take a lot longer than that to actually be delivered on?
Yeah, great question. So adoption rates in the industry are probably where we're focused on. We're very confident on the engineering. Any technology that is disruptive to an industry tends to have a challenge in terms of how quickly it can be adopted. And the mining industry faces the same challenge. So a large part of our focus right now is working with the customer to work out what that adoption rate looks like. So we're optimistic that the benefit that it gives will enable it to be adopted quite quickly. And that's the process we're working through now with our customers.
We'll move on now to Mack Hammer. Perhaps if you could give us a sense of what that tool does, what its unique competitive advantages, and a little bit of a sense of the market opportunity. That'd be fantastic.
Right. So where the CoreVibe is a drilling tool that we attach to a coring rig to expedite the rate of penetration, the Mack Hammer works by using rare earth magnets to create a similar kind of pulse or vibration activity as the CoreVibe, but it does so in generating chips rather than a core sample.
Right.
So its use case is as a replacement for RC drilling when RC drilling is not available. RC drilling, which uses compressed gas, tends to create a lot of dust, can only go to a certain depth, and it also won't drill through a water table. And it can be quite expensive, although it does drill very quickly. If you add a Mack Hammer onto a standard coring rig, you get all the speed benefits of an RC rig, but at a much lower cost, and you only need to deploy the existing coring rig.
So one rig instead of two type scenario?
One rig instead of two. You can drill deeper than you can with an RC rig,
Yep.
and there's a lot of safety benefits by removing the dust out of the site and removing compressed air off the site.
So environmental benefits too.
Massive.
What type of market opportunity does this product face, and when might we see that crystallise in terms of revenue for yourself?
So the Mack Hammer development is about 9 months behind where the CoreVibe development was, but we're tracking to schedule. We're tracking to the schedule that we developed for that.
Yep.
It is right now undergoing trials at our test site in New Zealand, and we're looking to run trials at customer sites on a commercial basis towards the back end of FY20.
Right. So let's talk a little bit, if we can, about one of the products that are taking you into, I guess, what we might call diversifying your revenue base into more production orientated. And I think that product there is called Blast Dog.
It is.
Now, you'll know a lot more about it than I will, so I won't even try to describe it. So I'll hand it over to you, and maybe you can give us a sense of
Sure.
what the opportunity for that is as well.
So Blast Dog, the dog is an acronym for Driller Operable Geophysics.
Right.
And the opportunity that it presents is that before they blast a bench in a production environment, it's the opportunity to gather as much of the material rock properties as is physically possible. So today a lot of blasting happens without that rock property information, which leads to a lot of downstream inefficiency. So whether it's poor fragmentation, which leads to poor haulage costs, increased consumption at the mill, or power consumption at the mill. You could be sending ore to the waste stream and waste through the mill. So there's tens and tens of millions of dollars being lost through that inefficiency every day. More than ever, mining companies are embracing innovation to try and address that problem. A lot of the expenditure to date has been on the post-blast area. Blast Dog's advantage is that it sits pre-blast. So rather than measure how badly you may have blown up the bench, we try to optimise the drill and blast process before we deploy the explosives. Absolutely.
Okay.
And there isn't a single mining operation in the world that doesn't have this problem.
Right.
And so whether it's surface or underground, whether it's the bulk commodities, metalliferous or gold, it applies everywhere.
Fantastic. Well, look, Paul, on that, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks very much, Gary. Appreciate the chance.
Cheers. Thank you.